Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1970s.
This time, I'm going to win. You're all afraid, you stinking pots of dookie duke.
This is episode 236, recorded February 26th, 2025.
Gruesome Magazine.
Now, that's some devilish language you got there, Chad.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
You should have saw it before I got a hold of it.
No kidding. My name is
No
Jeff
money for you.
Mohr, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1970 and 1979. Each episode, my co-hosts Doc Rotten, Bill Mulligan, Chad Hunt, and I will tackle another classic or not-so-classic film from this wondrous, groovy, gory, and influential decade. As you may have noticed, Doc Rotten is not with us tonight, but he will be with us at some point. So we're looking forward to that. Joining us
Speak for
tonight
yourself.
is Bill Mulligan, writer, director, special effects guru, all-around nice guy, and published author.
The author of I Don't Have a Copy because there was a convention this weekend and I sold all my copies.
Oh my
Which
God,
is
that's so good.
which is awesome. Yeah, that's great. But I have
awesome.
nothing, so I got to order another box.
Nice.
RavenCon. RavenCon's coming soon, and I want to see if I can do the same thing there.
Well, there you go. There you go. Also with us is Chad Hunt, comic book
Yeah,
artist
what of it?
co-host of Decades of Horror, the classic era, and my buddy. How you doing, Chad?
I'm good, man. Are you okay?
Barely. It's flipping back and forth. I can't handle doing this on a laptop. I got to flip in and out of screens.
First world
I
problems,
forget
man.
what day is it.
Exactly.
Also with us is Jerry Mulligan. I mean, Bill picked this movie.
I don't think he's okay, guys.
Are you having a stroke or something?
There's a connection. So Jerry Chandler. Also with us is Jerry Chandler. Now, you know, I was looking at this movie and going, who should I get to join us for this Italian movie that nobody's ever heard of? Jerry Chandler.
The Antichrist. Yeah.
So Jerry, how you doing? Glad to have you with us again.
I'm doing wonderful. And I completely understand every little screw up that you've had because my brain is still stunned and traumatized from seeing this movie as well.
Well, I did rewatch it right before the podcast. So,
jeez, what a glutton for punishment!
Really.
Even I wasn't going to do that.
No.
Something like that. So
you'll be calling yourself Jerry Mulligan if you keep watching it. Jeez.
I'm your host, Jerry Mulligan. No way.
And Bill Chandler. All right. Decades of Horror Gruesome Magazine partner with Play Now Media on several of their streaming channels. They've got about 25, maybe more of them. In particular, Decades of Horror of the 1970s is on their Wicked Horror TV channel, which is $6.99 a month or $50 for a year. And we have a promo code, DOH70, DOH all caps 70. You enter that. You must subscribe online at their website, and you must be a first-time subscriber. So go there, subscribe. And if I was you, I would do the year because what you get with that promo code is 20% off your first payment. So if you do the monthly plan, your first payment's $7, you get $1.40 off. If you do the annual plan, it's $50, you get $10 off. So it's $40 for a year. And they got a lot of nice movies there. And in fact, the movie we're doing today is on the Classic Horror Movie channel. And you could use that promo code for that one too. And even if you don't, you could just go there and watch movies like Tubi. All right. You'll get ads, etc. All right. So check them out. What are we doing here today?
We're trying to figure out what the hell we all just watched.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
Exactly.
So what we do here is first we give a few details of the movie, and then we do first impressions. Chad does some taglines. You might think there weren't very many for this one, but you might be wrong. And then we take off down the road and discuss the cast, the crew, the story, whatever trips our trigger. So our topic today is The Antichrist from 1974, directed by Alberto Di Martino, written by Gianfranco Clerici, Alberto Di Martino, and Vincenzo Mannino. The cast includes Carla Gravina, Alida Valli, Mel Ferrer, Arthur Kennedy, Anita Strindberg, George Coulouris, Mario Scaccia, and Umberto Orsini. The music was by Ennio Morricone and Bruno Nicolai. Cinematography was listed as being Aristide Massaccesi, who is actually Joe D'Amato. Dun, dun, dun. Production company. Capitolina Produzioni Cinematography. Filming locations, Rome, Italy. All over the place in Rome. Release date, November 22nd, 1974 in Italy, March 3rd, 1978 in the U.S. I didn't get any box office numbers, but they had theater admissions. In Spain, 1,186,142 theater admissions. In France, 418,000 admissions, which actually seems kind of decent. I looked up the population of Spain in 1974 was 35 million.
No, that's pretty good then.
So 1 in every 35 people, or, who went a whole bunch of times. The synopsis: a paralyzed young woman becomes possessed by the devil when a hypnosis session intended to heal her disability accidentally awakens memories of her past life as a witch. Oh, is that what that was? I didn't know that. And here she is with, I don't know, are those ashes on her forehead and
pea soup on her lips.
Spitting out green pea soup.
Yeah.
She's devilish for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you know what? This one was a surprise. I think for maybe all of us. And this was Bill's pick.
It most certainly was not.
Oh, it was Chad's pick.
Thank you. Oh, boy.
I think this show is possessed.
Yeah, I am. What's going on, Chad? What did you think of this movie? Why did you pick it? What the heck is going on?
I picked it because my number of choices I had for 70s movies was running awfully thin. So I just picked it, the first 70s movie that I ran across on Tubi, and it was this one. And I said, well, it's got Mel Ferrer in it.
Sure.
He's pretty solid guy, solid actor.
Mm-hmm.
What I did not expect was this blatant cash in on The Exorcist, for one thing. Even down to when the exorcist comes to the house, there's a shadow at the doorway, the stairway at the end, where they're going up the Colosseum stairs. It was just, but there was some stuff in there that was pretty laughably disgusting and laughably confusing. I didn't know what the hell was going on till near the end when she said, she's going to have my baby. So I didn't know that was what was going on until the demon said it. And it was just I'm at a loss to how to describe this.
Okay.
It's just, it had to be seen to be believed. I'll say that. And even then, I still didn't know what the hell was going on half the time. So, but it's not completely a piece of trash. It's not completely bad. I mean, there's parts that I did find kind of shocking and scary and that kind of thing. But I just I don't know. I lost the plot somewhere.
We'll be saying that a lot, I think. Thank you, Chad. Let's hear from our guest, Jerry Chandler. Had you heard of this? And what did you think of it?
I had not heard of this. I had not seen this. I thought I had. Once I started watching it and realized not only was I thinking of the wrong actors in it, but it was not, I was thinking of the wrong movie that I thought I remembered. So I just, buckle up and see what's happening. And I thought it was, I don't know how to describe it.
See?
Well, yeah, but I wasn't quite going to say odd yet, but it's like when it opens and kind of like drops you into this scene that's really bizarre and kind of that 70s, whatever, people talking in tongues and falling down in front of a statue and this group of them and these two people standing and watching. So you kind of got that vibe like, okay, these people are important. Somehow this is going to play into it. And then that doesn't quite really ever play into anything too deeply. And it got really kind of just pedestrian. And I was starting to think, oh, this is going to be painful because it's not a short movie and nothing was happening. Nicely shot, technically wonderfully shot, but it was like watching a Spanish soap opera for a little while. But then all of a sudden they got to the scene where she remembers or the stuff comes out. And when she went to bed, and suddenly we're seeing her in her bed, but we're also seeing her in what looked like just a gorgeous silent movie, something like Haxan or V or one of the really artistically well done horror witchcraft silent films. This just amazing like demon orgy undead scene that got a little weird when she started licking animal butts, but they did this one. they did
not our usual fare, folks.
I like the way he said a little weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people do, they deal with, they put animal butts in their mouth, but usually they cook them first.
Oh, we make it look like a hot dog first.
Yeah, but they've got that scene was just amazingly laid out, and it's like absolutely gorgeous. And then when they started doing the whole thing, kind of like the Rosemary Baby, the devil or the demon or whatever this thing was, in what you thought was her dream or her memory, begins to copulate with her. It goes back to the bedroom, and they did like what was probably a really cheap effect, but it was really, really good, where you could see like the prints in the mattress and movement. So it's like, and so it's happening. It's happening in both. And all of a sudden I'm like, okay, this just turned into a much more interesting film. They did all their preamble. Now we're going to get into the horror. And that lasted for maybe 15 minutes. And then like out of nowhere, it was like, oh, hey, The Exorcist was really popular. Let's do that. And it became an entire different movie with 2 or 3 plot ideas cramming together. And it was a glorious mess by the last third. But yeah, it was a mess. And by the time I was done watching it, I was like, I have no idea what the hell I just watched. I'm not even sure if I like it. I think I do, but I have no idea what I just looked at.
Okay.
That was my first impression.
I heard that before. What is that what Chad said? All right. Bill Mulligan, had you seen this before?
Well, I thought I did, but once again, I got my movies confused. I was thinking of The Tormented. So I'm getting.
I think if any of us ever saw this, we would not forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so I was like, "Where's the statue?" But maybe we'll do that one someday. This kind of surprised me. Jerry touched on a lot of things that devil worshiping orgy sequence was pretty cool. Kind of gave me some Coffin Joe vibes, and it really was quite interesting. This movie, but then when you get to the Exorcist stuff, I'm like, is this kind of like a Lisa and the Devil thing where they had a perfectly good movie and then decided, no, we got to throw some pea soup and head spinning in here? Because it felt kind of out of place, a little disjointed. But as far as I know, this was not a movie that they went back and refilmed things. They may have taken an existing script and just punched it up with some exorcism things. It's odd, but it has a lot to recommend for it. The cinematography is great, and I was stunned to find out it was shot by Joe D'Amato, who I don't really usually think of as a major craftsman for his own movies, but he did a fine job here. It's well shot. If you see a decent print, it was a lot less cheap looking than I expected. And as far as the actors, there's some familiar faces that are good to see. And I think the lead actress, the unfortunate possessed girl, young woman actually, knocked it out of the park. She looks vulnerable when she's just someone confined to a wheelchair, but when the devil takes over, she's chewing up the scenery. She caught that gleefulness of the demon inside her, just enjoying all the nasty stuff that it's doing better than just about anyone. This is it's a puzzling film. It's not nearly as sleazy as I was expecting. And in fact, maybe it could have benefited from a little bit more, but I'm okay with that. The worth seeking out. And I did not think when Chad picked this, I'm like, oh, there he goes again. What did he do? Just pick the first one that came along with a 1974 after it. And sure enough, that's exactly what he did. But no, this was, I'm glad I got to see it. I wouldn't have seen it otherwise.
Well, now that I know everybody liked it, I'll take credit for.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I never saw
sure about that, but
I never even heard it under this title. I always, the few times I heard of it was under The Tempter.
Yeah.
But apparently it was Antichrist everywhere else.
So yeah, I'm with the rest of you guys. I didn't know what I was going to be seeing. We start off with that crowd scene where they're apparently, it's like lords or something. You're going to crowd around the statue of the Virgin Mary and get healed. One woman appears to get healed by touching this. I don't know what was that. It was like a turquoise.
Splash. It's like a sash or something. Like a
sash. Yeah. Our sort of heroine, Ippolite, played by Carla Gravina, is paralyzed from the waist down, and so she tries to stagger up there but she doesn't make it. And then some other guy who's really does look like he's possessed. I mean, he's nasty looking. They try to get him up there, and he breaks away and runs up and jumps off the top of the Coliseum, I guess. I didn't know that's what it was at the time. And by the way, I don't know when they stopped filming at the Coliseum, but they actually do film in the Coliseum in this. So I was a little surprised about that. She does a great job, Carla Gravina, and we have some other people there. Mel Ferrer just kind of there.
Yeah.
He's really not too emotional at any point. Arthur Kennedy, though, does a kind of a decent job, I think. And then some of the others are people that we've seen in several other films. I like the story, and I think they're trying to, it's definitely trying to cash in on The Exorcist. And even, I think as Jerry or somebody mentioned, it's got that piece of Rosemary's Baby too, where the devil is, it's like there's some kind of weird curse on their ancestors or something. That wasn't really obvious, but you don't really need to know, I guess. They were, so when the devil is impregnating some ancestor, it's actually, she's seeing it again in a vision. And like Jerry described, it's, he's invisible and has a weird goat head or mask or whatever that was. But you could definitely see the impressions on the bed where he's straddling her, and she is acting like that's what's happening. She's kind of anyway. Then we go through a variety of doctors. here's a guy who hypnotizes her to remember her past life. Then there's the priest. There's
the fake voodoo guy,
the seance guy, whatever it is he's trying to do, and then finally the Max von Sydow character that comes in, and instead of saying the power of Christ over and over, he says, "I exorcise you," over and over again.
Yeah.
But it seemed to work, by the end. But wow, this thing is just like, I mean, we get there's like this cult that decapitates. I thought it was a little toad or dragon, but then it was like a lizard, and then it was like a toad or a frog. But yeah, and then she eats it, the head. They put the head in her mouth. Yeah. That got my attention. I totally missed the goat butthole.
I don't know how you could have missed it.
And I am not going to go back and watch it. So
no,
he will. He will.
Not so.
He's going to buy the Blu-ray.
I was actually thinking about
Blu-ray.
buying it. There is a Blu-ray.
Of course there is.
I thought. I didn't buy it because I thought I kind of want this one, and then I watched it and went, "Oh shit, I kind of like this one." All right, so that's it for first impressions.
Now is the time on Sprockets.
Yeah, that kind of brings us to a little piece, and now it's time for Taglines with Chad, played by Chad his own self.
I guess you want me to read these taglines.
I do.
All right.
Premise.
The taglines for the Antichrist are as follows. What it says is what it means.
What?
You heard me. What it says is what it means.
What I am is what I am is what you are, or what?
I am what I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Deliver her from evil.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So far, not so good.
Nah. From the bowels of hell, the serpent has risen to pour foul evil upon the world.
That's the one.
I
Okay.
guess I was mistaken. There wasn't a whole lot of them. I actually tried to translate one.
You were thinking of posters.
Google Translate could not figure out what language it was. It's Danish. No, it's Swedish. No, it's Danish. No, it's Swedish. Neither one of them made any sense at all. So you escaped that one, Chad. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's been Taglines with Chad.
Chad's our hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad.
And we'll move right into.
I always have visual a go-go dancer just shimmying to that,
All right.
You have had some horrible taglines to some of these movies.
Yep.
Those were.
But seriously, it means what it says.
It means what it says.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
No.
I saw
The Antichrist, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, was that a tagline, or did he accidentally watch one of the commercials for like insurance salesman or something while he was typing this down?
I just pulled the taglines out of IMDb. I should have looked at these posters.
The poster has a good tagline on it there.
That's not bad. And it's interesting. So here's the original, the Antichrist, and that's the poster. I think probably seems to get used the most. That's actually pretty cool.
I remember
and then
that
this
poster.
next one,
and that's a definite ripoff of Rosemary's Baby, though. Right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But then the second poster, which
I mean, The Exorcist. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for the American market, where it's the Tempter, they actually went out and got someone to paint the same shot or an interpretation of the same shot, except with the woman, turned around so we get to see her boobs. All right.
That shot, that photo shot is not in the movie, though.
No, nothing like it.
Anyway, well, that's two posters.
Oh, there's more to come. There were so many. I started, and a lot of them, a lot of them were like this, where they're just taking scenes and putting them up. I like the that interesting font that they're going with here. That's kind of cool. And the one on the upper left is looks like it was painted. It's not particularly good. It's just a bunch of people looking off. They could be looking at anything.
Looks like she's using an inhaler.
Yeah, it does look like she's using an inhaler.
Can't
What is
breathe
she
with all this
doing there?
devil gas.
Yeah, they
Maybe
do
it's-
like to put. It's pretty consistent that they put the, an upright cross for the first T and an upside down cross for the second T.
And then the A is kind of a weird
Yeah.
eye in a pyramid thing. That's all. That's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And here's some more.
here's some more.
If you didn't like them, here's some more with the.
I kind of like the negative one, although
Yeah.
I don't know what scene that is.
Yeah, I think that's the priest.
No.
Oh.
Oh, I like the bottom. The bottom two
right.
as well.
Yeah.
Bottom right is.
Can't go wrong with eyes like that.
I tell you what,
I like
extra
the
ass out.
One at a time, boys. One at a time.
I really like the red one, the one that's all red because it's just got that vibe. The one that's like her glowing eyes, I kept seeing that, and instead of like horror, every time I saw that thumbnail, I was like, "Oh, did it bring up Scanners?"
It does look like Scanners. Yeah, you're right.
That's kind of the facial
Lily.
facial expression, and then we got a couple more, and we throw in an advertisement here.
So I just want to put that one in there because what a great time it was to be alive. All right, 'cause you could go to the movie theater and see these insane-o double features: Jason and the Argonauts and its natural twin, The Deep. What? Or The Tempter and Cross of Iron. What? They just threw all the names into a barrel and pulled them out two at a time. Like,
Actually, I think you're right. I think you're right. Here's what we got. Pick two.
Yeah.
Two
Clearly
big hits.
Yeah. Jason
And
the
that's
Argonauts. Best
Route
of the bunch.
19. All right. Well, and then I believe it or not, I kind of like this. I saw this VHS cover
Oh.
where it's got the wraparound where the hand's reaching in and feeding her the toad or frog head after they visually ripped it off on screen. Now, you special effects experts, I mean, I assume it was a pliable rubber animal that was hollow that they filled with red stuff, and then
You can assume all you want, pal. This is a low budget movie. But no,
Well,
it
true.
did look like a rubbery and I can't believe they were paying these people enough to actually put real
You wouldn't
toad
think
heads
so.
in there. But if this was a Herschel Gordon Lewis joint, that's exactly what they would have done.
Well, let's talk about the director a little bit, Alberto Di Martino.
I
And
regretfully forgot to make a slide for, but he has some interesting things.
you guys got excited about some of this. So
Yeah,
fire away.
Well, Medusa versus the Son of Hercules was one that was on TV all the time. And it has an especially interesting Carlo Rambaldi Medusa. Looks like a big tree with glowing eyes, and that was pretty creepy. But I think the one that I know best of his was the Puma Man from 1980. And
Okay, hold on. So what was was there another name for that?
Which one?
Hercules versus Medusa?
Yes, that's also Perseo Invincible or something.
Okay. Invincible Gladiator.
Yeah, there you go, from 1963.
Okay.
They took all of these, so they took all of these completely not related to Hercules movies, and they were like the Sons of Hercules because everyone's calling them something else throughout the entire movie. So it's Hercules' son. And this one, I remember watching this one as a kid. It was really confusing because like he's not even considered a son of Hercules. They have this narrator at the beginning, and he talks about how some of these people, while not directly related to Hercules, were such men of might and valor that they were sort of adopted by Hercules. I'm like, I don't really need to know this. I don't know my Greek mythology. I'm 8 freaking years old. Just, it's the son of Hercules, whatever. You can call him Hercules for all I care.
I'm my own grandpa.
Yeah.
just to make sure we get this clear, the Invincible Gladiator is a different movie than Perseo.
Oh, okay.
Invincible Gladiator says Hercules fights an evil ruler. Percio Invincible says Hercules fights Medusa.
Yeah.
So,
He did Puma Man, which
Unconvincible.
is like a superhero movie from back in the day. And when you watch old superhero movies, just thank your lucky stars that you grew up in a time when they actually could do it right. Because we were as a comic book nerd, I was so starved for any kind of film superhero. The Puma Man was okay.
here's one for
Oh.
classic here, the Blancheville Monster. What is that?
Really quickly, all I'm going to say about the Puma Man is everybody needs to Google Puma Man and look at the actual character
Yeah.
and his lovely, lovely mall bought t-shirt with the strange gold mask design on it.
Which doesn't look at all like a Puma in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form.
It looks like they bought a gold mask t-shirt at Spencer's and was like, here, wear this. You're a hero now.
Yeah. And while you will not believe that a man can fly, you will be pretty convinced that he can jump off strategically placed trampolines. Oh, there he is.
This sounds kind of, I see that.
And
yeah.
a red cape.
Donald
red cape.
Pleasance.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Listen, Donald he had alimony payments, you know. And he's good in
Thousands
it.
of years ago, aliens visited Earth and fathered the Puma Man, a man
Yep.
god with supernatural powers, entrusted by a gold mask with the ability to control people's minds. Oh,
It's
Lordy.
a mess. So this guy did a little bit of everything. He did westerns. He did peplum. He did horror. You know, I mean, not every Italian director was Mario Bava. A lot of them, and even Mario did a lot of, other stuff too before he specialized in horror. This guy was, he was.
Oh, here's
doing
one.
his thing.
The Killer is on the phone with Telly Savalas.
Is that the name of the movie? The
he-
Killer's on the Phone with Telly Savalas? Because that would be a great title.
No, I would, but
What you
That-
thinking about?
before that,
You,
was Crime
baby.
Boss. Also with Telly Savalas, Antonio Sabato. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
that's
He
when
probably did
Telly was wanting to live in Italy for a while.
He probably did a Django movie or two. I mean, it's interesting.
He did a Ringo.
Ringo
$100,000 for Ringo.
and The Spy with 10 Faces. Oh no! Look at that, Django. Django shoots first.
Oh, did I miss that one? Yeah.
Well, he wrote the
Han
story.
shot
I don't know if
first.
he wrote-
Oh, wrote him. Yeah. Assault on Fort Texan. I mean, that's not even Fort Texan.
Oh, and then I forgot the other one that he's probably famous for was The Chosen, which also known
Yeah.
as Holocaust 2000, which is a ripoff not of The Exorcist but of The Omen, with I think Kirk Douglas. I mean, it had
Yep.
some of these actors.
Simon
they,
Ward.
Kirk Douglas and a weird, there we go, a weird silver mechanical multi-headed monster.
Yes.
Wow.
Anthony.
Looks like
Quayle.
some on Barney the dinosaur.
It's
I don't
on
think-
Tubi.
I don't think it actually moves. It's just he has this vision of like
Oh.
nuclear power plants that turn into these heads.
So yes,
And-
you too. You guys Google Alberto D. Martino and see what you can find. I'm just warning you, or maybe this is not a warning. This is maybe an attraction. Miami Golem gets a 3.8 on IMDb, and the Puma Man gets a 2.3.
That's extremely generous. Now there is a Mystery Science Theater version of the Puma Man, which I recommend. Maybe you watch that one first. He just passed away, just not that in 2015.
Who,
Yeah,
Puma Man?
Yeah,
No, he's
Steve
immortal.
Martino. So anyway,
And I'm frozen. What the bleep?
And look at that face, boy.
Yeah,
Oh, I got to
Ugh.
see this. We need to.
it looks like I puckered up to kiss a goat butt or something.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back because I am not going to be spending the next hour looking like I'm kissing goats. I'll be right here.
So Bill mentioned cinematography, and I thought there was some kind of interesting shots here. There was a shot in the church with some kind of weird wrought iron cross in the foreground, shooting down across, and there was some other shots where you could, see people through smaller spaces. I don't know, but nice try.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to our I don't know what to call her. She's the star.
The
I
protagonist.
guess she's the antagonist.
Yeah, she takes makeup well. She plays. She's not like drop dead gorgeous, but she's an attractive woman when she's not possessed by old Scratch there. But once she glares with the best of them. She's got a scary look, and she's even scarier when she's smiling.
She was kind of sexy in that scene where she was making love with no one.
Yeah, well. Yeah, she's got that cute hot Matrix thing going there. Yeah.
So no, I thought she did a great job. I mean, she had to go through a lot of histrionics, and I thought they did a decent job building the damage to her. You know, like originally, like how bad she looked. You know, at some point he's throwing the holy water on her, and she's getting
sores. Yeah,
sores all over her, and but anyway.
Well, I was very disturbed by how she looked.
When she was like, there was slobber in the foam, there was spit in the green, there was
a lot of body fluids,
eating the toad head.
Yeah.
But I think they were trying to outgross The Exorcist.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I mean, they were getting pretty descriptive and pretty nasty places where The Exorcist didn't even go.
Well,
in The Exorcist, all the things spit on everybody, fine. But she's like, here, lick this. Lick it. And it's
she spit all over her, I guess, governess.
Yeah.
When the governess went in with the super priest, the Exorcist. No, I thought she did really well. Screaming and yelling and laughing maniacally in a hoarse voice, etc. And what kind of credits does she have?
I'm afraid to go look because it keeps freezing me up when I go on IMDb.
Okay, taking a look. 58 credits as an actress, up through 1998. Mostly for Boomerang, 1976.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have to do another for most of the actors in this. I had to do two things, one for them in the movie and like one for the other stuff they did. But I didn't really see that much that she did. I'm a little surprised because this seems like a performance that would have made others say, "Hey, be in my ripoff horror movie." I expect. You think other, Gianfranco and others would have just jumped at the chance for her, but
yeah, she was actually. I mean, I wasn't familiar with her, and I was really, really surprised because she plays like so many facets of this character along the way, and at no time, like a lot of the Italian and the Spanish films from that era, you get somebody in that role. And it's like they're good as like the demure young lady, and then they have to get crazy, and it seems so out of their nature that it comes across bad. Or they're great at crazy, but they're trying to do demure young lady, and they come across more like a hooker trying to lure you in or something. They don't get it. And she was hitting every beat wonderfully. I mean, it was like. She was one of the best performances in the entire thing.
Yeah.
Well, I pulled that picture. I put it in the chat. I didn't think I wanted to show it on the show, but when they're having the dinner because she's now cured and she can walk and everybody's celebrating, and she starts to eat the food like a hungry wolf, and then spits it all out, and then goes all demonic on everybody. Then she leans back in her chair and throws both legs up on the table and says, "Here you go, boys," something like that to that effect. Kind of freaked him out. Her father, I just thought Mel Ferrer, he was just like non-existent.
Yeah, it was a very passive performance.
Yeah, a lot of times she's going into these histrionics and he just stands there and looks at her. He doesn't like try to grab her. He doesn't try to comfort her or anything. But anyway, so yeah, they do everything. They try to do the past life thing. The guy comes in with the voodoo doll, and
which was hilarious.
yeah, she fakes him out on that, and I forget what
Which
else.
is a
he did.
terrible plan, by the way. If you genuinely believe someone was possessed by a devil, would you bring in a voodoo guy? I just think, well, that's just going to make things so much worse.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see that helping.
Well, he ended up running the other way.
Well, then again, the first Exorcist doesn't do a great job either, but I guess he was too close to her.
No, he doesn't. Her uncle,
Arthur Kennedy. See, if they'd used George Kennedy, it might have worked, but
I don't know what to do with her.
It would have been a crazier film. It definitely would have been a
familiar
crazier
face to everybody.
There's this familiar face.
Alita Valley.
Alita Valley, who okay, well, you can see here the picture from, this is like one of my top 5 favorite horror films, Eyes Without a Face, where she plays the nurse to the scarred woman's doctor. She's attractive there. When she was even younger, she was ferociously beautiful. And that's always a shock to me, because I remember her as Frau Blucher from Suspiria, where she's just this really scary German woman. But she was a hot number back in the day. And she was also excellent in Lisa. There's Lisa and the Devil with Telly Savalas and Elke Summer.
I was thinking, I read that they said that she at one point early in her career, she was going to play her up to be the next Marlene Dietrich. Or the next Garbo. I'm sorry.
Garbo.
And if you look at her picture in IMDb, you can certainly see why they would say that. Very sultry.
Yeah. But for whatever reason, she didn't click with American viewers. Certainly not the way Garbo did. But she had a steady, good career and was always highly regarded. I think even later in life, she won some pretty prestigious European awards for some of her films. Not this one, but there wasn't. It seems like a lot of the European actors don't get the same penalty for being in trash that you might get if you're an American actor and you make too many really trashy movies. You're kind of considered on the downswing of your career, and the good offers don't keep coming. But I don't think there's quite that stigma with the Europeans.
Oh, it's European trash, so it's art, dear boy, art.
Euro trash, yes. I mean, you don't see too many award-winning actors in America being in movies where people are kissing goat butts.
No. Those are private films that they have.
Yeah. I was thinking of well, never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, and she was in.
We know who you were thinking of.
She was in The Third Man. She was in The Paradigm Case.
That Third Man's a great movie.
So yeah, I mean, she was she got some exposure early on, but for whatever reason, and it's hard to tell.
I mean, as far as horror goes, look, you can't get much better than you're in one of Bava's most beautiful movies. You're in the greatest of the Argento movies, and you're in an absolute 100% top 10 classic movie. Eyes Without a Face is on everyone's list of greatest horror movies ever from the classic time, and absolutely beautiful stuff. So, yeah, she had quite the resume there.
She goes back to 1935.
Dang. And I'm sure even in later life, when she wasn't being made up to look like the scariest gym coach ever, she was a lovely woman. But she was in Suspiria. She is just terrifying. She's got those crazy eyes and a smile that makes you want to run.
Yeah, she's like you said, Frau Blucher, but I was thinking Nurse Ratched.
Yeah, she'd be right at home in a Lena Wertmuller movie. Prison guard. She's the ultimate bad prison guard.
Well, she was in one called Killer Nun.
Oh, perfect.
1979. She was the, yes, you guessed it, Mother Superior.
Of course. It's a small role in this one, but she gives it her all. And I did like that her character, who's just the nursemaid or the
Well, it's hard to
is
tell
her
at
really?
first, but I think
Yeah.
she's like the governess is what I was
The
came up
governess,
with,
right? Okay,
other
so
than
she raised her and all, and they keep her around probably to
But she
polish
showed
what
more
she-
emotion toward the girl than her father did. So,
Yeah, and I like that the Exorcist took her as the second.
yeah.
That she was considered strong enough, and yes, if I had the choice between Dad and her,
yeah, no
100%,
no kidding.
she's got your back.
Now, and here's Mel's second or second wife or second choice for wife, right? Anita Sinberg,
trophy wife here, trophy
the
girlfriend.
blonde.
She was in quite a bit. She's
And they apparently didn't care who saw them doing what.
Yeah. I think Murder Obsession, that's a Freda film. We just did Freda not too long ago, and Curse of the Scorpion's Tail, pretty good. And I love that your vice is a locked room, and only I have the key. All right. So she's made a name for herself in giallo films. What's the name of this actress again?
Anita Sindberg, I think.
She was also very beautiful. Yeah. Who saw her die? Strindberg. A kind of a small role here. Not really a whole lot. She seemed like she would have been a more major character, but she was just there really to get the daughter upset that her dad was dating someone new.
I gotta hand it to some of the oddball movie people from that era, though, because you just don't get titles that you have to spend 3 minutes like saying anymore. Your vice is a locked room and only I have the key. No, that's not a tagline. That's the title.
Right. God knows what the tagline is.
Probably something much shorter.
It is what it says it is. Yeah, something stupid.
Yeah.
Scary.
Boo.
Right.
I love the poster for Case of the Scorpion's Tail, but a lot of these giallo movies, if they're not done by Argento or Bava or Fulci, they're not that good. They have great posters though that promise a whole lot more.
Lizard in a woman's skin.
Yeah.
Blonde and
was she in that one? Was she in Lizard in a Woman's Skin?
Yes.
Oh, that's a Fulci film. That's a good one.
All righty. Well, she doesn't have a whole lot to do here. No. She's the new fiance, I guess, and the daughter is jealous of her. Let's take a here's Dad, Mel Ferrer. Oh, go ahead.
That one poster on the bottom, I was going to ask one of you to try to read it because I wasn't sure. I'm like trying to figure out if I'm having a stroke or that just doesn't make sense. Before Don't Look Now came Who Saw Her Die. Oh, Don't Look Now, the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, it just it registers. So I'm like reading it like before Don't Look Now came Who Saw Her Die. What?
Well, a kid in a yellow raincoat. So,
Yeah. That's basically it. It's like, how dare they? Oh, yeah. Nicholas Ray ripped us off. Okay. Whatever lets you sleep at night.
So Mel Ferrer, which we have actually seen in more movies.
Yeah, these are some of the ones. Now we're going to do City of the Walking Dead one day because that's a killer one. We've done Eaten Alive and Screamers, Island of the Fishmen. He was in the part that they put in there, the prologue, I guess.
Right.
And,
we did The Visitor too, right?
Yeah, we're still puzzling about that one.
That's a wonderful film.
It sure is.
See, but now you have to torture yourselves because you've done Screamers, but you haven't done Island of the Fishmen. And Island of the Fishmen is actually now available in the U.S.
But it was the same movie. It's not the same movie.
It's
slightly different,
similar.
It's one of those things where they added.
Yeah. There's a whole section. I can't remember if you touched on it, so I'll do it really, really quick. There's a whole section in Screamers that doesn't exist in Island of the Fishmen. It's like 2 minutes long because Corman had Jim Wynorski doing the advertising for it. And he went into their little studio area and made up an entire section for the trailer. And the trailer scored so well, Corman was like, you have to put that in the movie now.
Yeah.
So they pulled the things back and they inserted it into all their copies.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's the screamer. That's the ripped inside out. That whole
Yeah.
BS that isn't anywhere
You'll
else.
see a man turned inside
Yeah.
out. No, you won't.
That was all Jim Wynorski pulling
That's
that
cool.
like trailer crap that Corman was famous for.
Well, Mel Ferrer is not a bad actor, but he's not great in this.
I was wondering if he was directed to be that way, because that seemed to be an issue with the girl, that he wasn't attentive enough toward her, and he was in love with this other woman and paid her no attention now. Or I thought maybe he was directed that way, because I agree, he's not really doing much in this movie.
Yeah, he's not a bad actor, and he's not at that point in his career, especially. I can't think of a lot of films, even some horrendously bad ones, where he was like a complete cash it, just phone it in and cash a check guy. And I think Chad might be right that, yeah, it's because that, looking at the dynamic they set up in maybe the original version of the script before they decided to take it off the rails, that actually makes sense, because he was playing it in a weirdly detached way.
Mm-hmm.
And playing off of her, and that actually does make a lot of sense, and that makes it
could be
fit better into the story.
He's in Nightmare City.
Is that the same thing as City of the Walking Dead?
Yeah. Incubo sulla cita caminata. An airplane exposed to radiation lands, and blood-drinking zombies emerge, armed with knives, guns, and teeth.
I'm calling that one. We'll do that one.
Umberto Lenzi.
It is. It's great.
It looks like a Tubi one.
He's a general. He's a general.
Zombies that use tools. It's a definite interesting and
well, I knew you put it. I think you put it on our Cannibal Ferox episode as a cannibal movie too, because
I mean, all zombies are cannibals, but not all cannibals are zombies. The taxonomy is,
or maybe it was I can't remember. Who knows? I get confused.
The only thing that I ever say about City of the Walking Dead is this, for all writers out there, this is the movie you want to watch if you want to know what you don't do when you can't figure out the end of your movie.
Yes, it has. Well, I will say it has the ultimate cop-out ending, but it does semi-redeem itself. It goes far enough that it's like, oh, okay, I see where you're going here. But yeah, if it had ended 30 seconds earlier, I'd be like throwing stuff at the screen. We're whetting people's appetite for when we do that.
Chad, I'm assuming from Chad's look, he's never seen this one.
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, well. Oh, you're in for a treat.
It is so wonderful in the most horrible way possible, or it's so horrible in the most wonderful way possible.
Yeah.
Is that a 70s flick or an 80s?
I think it's 1980. You're talking about the Nightmare City thing?
Yes. In fact, I was going to pick it for our next 70s, but it turns out, no, it's not. So.
Oh, I thought it was late 70s.
I think it's 80. Or maybe that's when it got here. I don't know.
I was looking at.
Again, I'm afraid to go on IMDb and get.
Is that what it's called?
I think Nightmare City might be.
Okay, so Nightmare City is listed as 1980.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it may well have been in Italy earlier than that.
With Hugo Stiglitz.
Well, they have pretty much been putting the earliest date now.
See, I'm surprised you said that this movie, which is obviously a ripoff of The Exorcist, was made at the time when The Exorcist was hot, but it sounds like it didn't come to America for another 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, by that time, I don't know. What's it ripping off by then? Exorcist 2?
Yeah, but they probably didn't care too much.
Yeah.
If they were making it like right in the middle of that, I'm thinking they cared less about the American market and more riding that momentum in the European market.
Because didn't they attempt to sue? Didn't Warner Brothers try to sue for this movie for ripping off The Exorcist? I know they successfully pretty much scotched Abby, which I've never gotten to see as a result. But they went after this one. I was like, I don't think you really have a case here. Demon possession is not something you can copyright, other than the green soup, the pea soup, and the fact that an exorcist shows up. But that's kind of, that's going to happen.
Well, we get
in
the
an exorcist
they
movie.
put the head spin in, but it was so oddly placed that the guy that she killed, instead of just showing the body laying there with his head on backwards, we had to have a flash cut of the head spinning, so we understood that that's what happened before that. Anyway,
I didn't see that in mine, or they cut that out. I just saw the head laying there on the body after.
Oh, okay.
After
So yeah,
that.
well, in the one I watched, there's like a real
very quick,
a split second flash of the head spinning, and then it cuts to the body laying there with the head on backwards.
Either you looked away half a second, or like I said, either before we started or right after we started. When I was looking the movie up on different streaming sites, several of them, the times didn't quite match up, but it was only a difference of like a few minutes either way. So I think this is one of those ones where there's like a couple of different cuts or 3 different cuts floating around out there. Because the other thing that surprised me about the one I saw, well, it had the goat licking, the goat butt licking, and the the frog part, and some of the other lick the hand full of green spittle. When I was like looking it up right before watching it, the one thing I kept seeing was like people doing quickie reviews about it, and they were talking about how like Eurotrash lurid it was. And it had some of that, but the version that I saw was tame compared to a lot of the other French and Spanish horror at the time when it came to nudity or sex or
There's very little nudity. I'm trying to remember. I think we see
the devil scene, the bedroom. That's about the only major nudity scene I can think of.
But if you list all the things that happened, it's some pretty lurid stuff. So you were right. Warner Brothers sued the producers for plagiarism, but lost. And Alberto Di Martino says, they said our film was a remake of theirs, but that's absolutely not true. It's a different story and a totally different atmosphere. The Exorcist is a movie, I would add, all room and kitchen, a trick movie, let's say. The Antichrist is a film with a wide scope. It has the Vatican, churches, masses, cardinals in it. It has so much more in it, doesn't it? It's more cinematic.
Okay.
And then this little bit that I missed before, but Carla Gravina said that she was a little bit afraid of the character in this movie, and that she was subject to some strange disease which started after shooting. I felt a kind of general malaise, wondering if it was simple exhaustion or if she had actually been possessed by the devil. Sometimes it translates into intense cold, others in dizziness, feeling of emptiness, severe headaches, lack of appetite, and so on.
That's from licking the goat's butt.
Yeah, she never took another part like that.
Has there ever been a demon possession devil movie where the actors don't pull this old? And after I made this movie, all kinds of strange things happen. I'm like, that's the cocaine, dude. Don't be
it came out in a magazine. This interview came out in a magazine in 1974, so in time to get a little PR.
And that was the wonderful constructed ballyhoo on a lot of them. Like Bill was saying, we were filming and there was some really strange stuff happening on the set.
Until stage light fell.
Stage light fell.
A light bulb burnt out for no reason.
One of the writers accidentally drank some rubbing alcohol. Who knows? Must have been Satan.
Yeah, until Cannibal Holocaust, and Ruggiero went way over.
Well, anyway. Bad stuff did happen on that one. Yeah.
So here's our buddy Arthur Kennedy,
who I really was waiting for the other George Kennedy to show up, and it's like
you were too. Huh?
This is the guy who was in Don't Open the Window, Living Dead, Manchester Morgue.
Yes.
Looking
yes.
at the credits, when you read the credits earlier, I think I know what my eyes and my brain did, not paying attention, because there's somebody in there named George something. So I
Yeah.
think their names were stacked like that, and I just crossed them and saw George Kennedy, and spent 35 minutes waiting for George to show
Where's
up.
George Kennedy?
Well, Arthur
Saves the
Kennedy was nominated for 5 Academy Awards.
That's pretty impressive. What were the great movies he was in? Because I know it's not. The
well,
Sentinel.
he Best Supporting Actor in 1950 for Champion.
Okay.
Best Actor in a Leading Role in Bright Victory in 1952. Best Actor in a Supporting Role in Trial, which actually we just talked about that because why am I not? Oh God, I hate when they do this. Anyway, I think Mark Robson directed that. 1958 Supporting Actor for Peyton Place, and 1959 Supporting Actor for Some Came Running.
Oh.
And I'm trying to see. Some Came Running is drama, romance, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Shirley MacLaine, Arthur Kennedy. But I think I got to double check Trial now. Is it? Yeah, that was directed by Mark Robson that came up through the Val Luton RKO group, and starred Glenn Ford and Dorothy McGuire. That's why I brought it up. I brought it up in Spiral Staircase.
Well, he's just cashing a paycheck here, but he is acting. He's not doing a Mel Ferrer.
He gets pretty cringy there when she attacks him. And isn't? Nope, I had that wrong. Oh, one of our other favorites, Bright Victory, was also directed by Mark Robson, in which he co-starred with Julie Adams. Drama, romance, war, the type. All right. I thought he did okay here, and I was, with 74, he seemed pretty trim to me. For some reason, I thought he was. Now, he made a bunch of film noir, too, so that's the kind of stuff I've seen him in, and he plays that kind of character in the Manchester Morgue flick.
Yeah, he's great in that.
Oh God, he's in Shark. Character. He's in Shark with Burt Reynolds.
Oh, geez.
Really?
Yes, I was flipping into.
Oh man!
Oh my God, yes, because he's Doc.
I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, neither have I. So it just suddenly went click.
Shark is which now?
It's literally it's a Burt Reynolds, but not Sharky machine. It's literally a shark. It's this like a gun runner, and they're out, in that kind of tropical area and the whole 9 yards.
What was the one with Carl Weathers?
What, Bermuda Depths?
The Bermuda Depths
was that it?
Yeah. With the turtle?
Was it a turtle?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Giant turtle.
Was.
And Connie Selica.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It is,
I didn't remember it was a turtle. I just remembered
that movie left scars. See, this is really well shot, well lit.
Sets are very good.
When I saw Joe D'Amato, I just about fell out of my chair.
And I mean, not only does it look still picture good, but what really caught me off guard, like I said before, you had all of this almost like Spanish soap opera storytelling period going on, and then they hit this, and it's this amazing set, and just all that intricate detail, and the enlarged, because they filmed it like the camera's moving, and they're going around, and they're seeing everything, and it was shot in this like nightmare dream style, but not getting like the goofy foggy. I mean, that was artistically, that was probably the most beautiful scene in the entire film.
Well, the head is different too. It's not the standard goat head. It's a very different looking thing.
Well, I think that's a mask he's wearing, but
yeah,
it almost looked like you flipped the channel into a different movie when this came out. It just looked. It was so starkly contrasted with the rest of the movie.
So that was pretty decent. And then we have
And
this had. Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
And I loved the mask. What you were saying, it's not the normal goat head. It's not the normal devil head. It looks like almost the Celtic and also the European. When you see those masks that are supposed to be either like the moon face god or the sun face god, the larger center nose, the brow, the beard flaring off like this. It's got that. Right. Yeah, it's got that very kind of old world mythology feel. And then just the horns on it and the dark eyes and the coloring and all. It just had such a beautiful vibe. And I know it's a horrendous scene, so beautiful doesn't.
Yeah.
But just as far as like,
well, it did. It did.
Yeah, it was gorgeous done.
The redhead ruins the whole aesthetic of the scene.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's got to be one.
All right, and then we have some pretty interesting effects too.
Yeah,
by interesting, that's one of the worst effects I've ever seen in my life on the bottom. I mean, boy, it just.
Oh, I thought it was great. Well, so not the effects, but the idea behind it.
The idea of it, yeah, it's but the levitation effects were interesting, and that was not this film's great strength when it came to actual effects. I think they were better off doing, like in that previous scene we were talking about, just doing practical and using mood and stuff. Because once it's okay when she's just levitating, but when she's like flying, nah.
Yeah.
The hand is hysterical though.
Yeah. I mean that was so.
I liked it.
I liked it, but that was so goofily obvious, like the split screen effect, where like you can. I mean, even in the photo, you can see the cut line.
Well, the guy, the exorcist, it's almost like he's or the zombie guy. It's almost like he's like getting his neck in there so he can grab it. He doesn't try to get out of the way at all. His hand comes out, and he's just anyway. All right.
I mean, wouldn't you be trying to grab at the hand instead of grabbing your boobs?
I would.
You know, right there.
They probably said, "Don't touch the hand. Whatever you do, don't reach out across the split screen." Okay.
Because you would usually go for the hand, even if that doesn't make sense. You go for the hand. I always like in movies when someone is being strangled. There's some guy, he's right up in their face and he's strangling them, and they try to take his hands away. They're pulling on the hands and they're getting choked. I'm like, you've got two free hands and a bad guy's face that is within easy eye gouging distance. I think that would be my go-to move.
Or his testicles, or his
I was going to say stuff the eyeballs. It's like you got some giant oaf strangling some small woman this close to them. It's like, lift your right knee really, really fast.
Yeah.
I always wondered about the ones where they pull plastic bags over somebody's head, and it's like, unless this is like super thick industrial strength,
poke a hole,
whatever. Nobody. Anyway,
I'm sorry, my cheese sandwich for lunch broke a hole in the bag.
Yeah.
Final comments on the Antichrist? Yeah, they fall apart every time I'm carrying a bag of groceries in.
Yeah. Antichrist, better than I thought it would be. Worth a look.
Absolutely. Oh, I enjoyed the heck out of it.
I thought we were going to be in for just a cheap, bad 70s movie, but it wasn't as bad as I thought either.
So thanks for picking it, Chad, because I probably wouldn't have gone to see this on my own.
Yeah,
I would like to take credit, but I picked it out of a lineup.
I think Carla Gravina actually saves it.
Yeah.
Because if she was kind of, if she didn't do a good job, it would just cheapen it that much more.
Yeah.
I mean, I really.
Sorry. Go ahead, Trey.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I was about to say I don't know if I'll watch it again, but I probably will now that I know what I'm getting into, because sometimes that makes a difference. But now I think the only caveat that I have on it, and I don't know if it's a good caveat, is there really was an interesting story
Yeah.
that they were developing
Mhm.
before they kind of went into let's do the Exorcist.
I agree.
And there's a part of me that really wants to see the film that
Mhm.
they were doing without the Exorcist. But at the same time, it's all the Exorcist stuff that makes it so backguano crazy
Mhm.
that it has an impact. So it's really interesting kind of whether that was a mistake, or trying to figure out if that was a mistake or not.
It seems like it was. It did to me. It seemed very intentionally tacked on at the end, and because the first half looked like it was going to go in a whole different direction. But I would say my only complaint with it is since they decided to go in that batshit crazy direction, maybe to cut down on some of the first half, because this is a damn near 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
And there's
it is
a
long.
lot of people talking in that first half.
Well, there is, but when I first started watching it, I was waiting for something to happen, but
Mhm.
as it got going on, I never once was like going, "Wow, is this really long?" Because they kept adding more stuff. Stuff was happening, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. The crazier it got, the less you noticed that you were like hitting an hour and a half.
Okay, I think I'm gonna buy this. It's only $20.
There you go.
Make sure you buy the goat's butthole edition.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
If it was 25 or 30, you would have bought it too.
It's
In
from
4K.
Kino Lorber, brand new 4K restoration by Studio Canal. A featurette with the writer or with the director and Ennio Morricone, and audio commentary from film historian and film critics. That's about it. Oh, includes English and Italian.
Ooh.
Let's see, optional English subtitles. So, $20. What the heck?
Yeah. There you are.
I got a fever, and the only thing that will solve it is more goat.
I gotta find out what the film historians say about the goat butt.
Yeah.
Well, if it's the Studio Canal version, if Kino Lorber is the Studio Canal version, I think you're getting the goat butt, because I think that was the one that was on Amazon.
I watched the
Studio
Canal one.
I thought Tubio said Studio Canal at the beginning, didn't it?
Okay.
It did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I watched it on Tubi, and it said Studio Canal at the beginning.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, let's move
Anyway,
on
there was a
to-
goat's butt.
There was a goat spot. Yeah. Was
Let's
it a
move
girl's goat? Was it a girl goat? Of course. What do you think I am? Some kind of weirdo?
I quit looking at that.
I'm not a pervert.
Let's move on to feedback.
Classic.
We got a few feedbacks.
Yep.
So first up, from episode 133, Shock, from Charles Bronson,
Mario
4282, Bill. Imagine
All
that.
right. Charles Bronson, big fan of your work, sir. It's not a bad little movie. Some say it's not connected to Beyond the Door at all. I say it is. The deceased husband looks a lot like the husband in the first one, and the female lead looks a hell of a lot like the female lead in the first one. And then you have the little redheaded stepchild that gets possessed in both movies. The only thing missing is the sister.
Well, there's little red-headed stepchilds in lots of foreign movies.
Yeah, they're creepy as hell.
Yeah, but I get you. I appreciate it, Mr. Bronson. I need to be respectful there.
Don't make them angry. Jeez.
192, Let's Scare Jessica to Death, the one we did with the director John D. Hancock. And Chad, could you take that? Bruce Walther?
Bruce
S21.
Walther, S21, says, man, I heard John Hancock work post-production for Wolfen, and my whole world just stopped. I love the movie Wolfen. I will always own a DVD of this. Still too disregarded horror gem with a point. I'm imagining the producers on director Michael Wadley having 4 hours of footage and refusing to cut it shorter. Hey, Wadley, this is supposed to be a horror movie, not another documentary. This isn't Woodstock, for Christ's sakes. Anyways, on to Let's Scare Jessica to Death. All right. This is exactly what we, film fans, want to hear from a director when reminiscing about his flick. He dated the lead actress for a while, Zora Lampert. The recap of all the creepy town folk really has me wanting to see Let's Scare Jessica to Death again. I remember the kids in the old neighborhood, the teen girls especially, talking about Jessica. The movie scared me and my older brothers a bit too, but has not been on TV much after the 80s. Prime Video and or streaming, anyone? Personally, the other reason I watched this video is Hancock directed the underappreciated Christmas movie Prancer from 1989. It has become a holiday staple at my house.
Excellent. Yeah, I talked a little. We did a quick rundown of his past movies, and that was one. Thank you so much, Bruce Walder. That was a fun interview.
Speaking of Charles Bronson, and I don't know why this made me think of it, but if you've ever seen Tim Thomerson imitating Charles Bronson ordering food at McDonald's, you really haven't lived yet. I don't even know if it's on YouTube or anything, but it's just a spot on.
It is.
You've seen it, Jerry?
We'll have to check it out.
There's a lot of his pre-Trancers like stand-up.
Yeah.
Floating around all over the place on YouTube, like on those like early comic collections. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
I love that.
I'm going to watch that as soon as this is over.
All right. And Jerry, episode 233, Black Noon from Andy L.
Andy L says, sorry to correct you, but it's not Thins. By the way, the Norlis tapes was indeed a pilot that was not picked up, but still entertaining. P.S. Since you're doing TV movies, I would still like you to cover A Cold Night's Death with Eli Wallach and Robert Culp. Yes,
we will.
YouTube for free. Yeah. It is on YouTube.
It is on YouTube. It's not a
it sucks. Print. It sucks.
Is it?
I love the movie, but the print.
The print is bad.
I did a long exchange with Andy and said, "Look, I'll do that." I said, "I love that movie, and I'll do it as soon as we get a decent streaming version." But I looked everywhere. There's one on Daily Motion. I think there's one on archive.org and YouTube, and I deemed them. I could just send it to you guys and ask you if you'll go with it or not. But
we've watched some pretty stinky copies of stuff.
Somewhere, it was somewhere else because I watched it not long ago.
And it wasn't bad,
and it was a decent print.
Oh,
well, if you can find it, shoot it to us because I can't.
All right.
On YouTube, it's like 2 or 3 of them, and they're all the same. They look like they're uploaded from the VHS or something. All right.
He includes an interview with Roy Thinnis.
Yes.
Or Thinnis or Thinnis.
It's Thinnis. He says Thinnis interview. And we talked about his name, and we all thought it was Thinnis. And I looked it up on some pronunciation guide, and it said Thins. And I appreciate Andy for correcting that because we can all go back to the way we always said it. Roy Thinnis.
Roy.
Yeah.
You remember Roy from the Invaders? Yeah, he's back in town.
And he says, long live and prosper.
So yeah, there's a link. Go to YouTube and look for a Thinnis interview with Roy Thinnis, actor, July something 1. All right, live long and prosper. That's Andy's usual sign off. Episode 234, The Scars of Dracula. Bill from Ralph Miller.
Ralph Miller says, I don't care what anybody says. I love this movie. There you go.
Yes. And Chad, Mikey Z.
Mikey Z says, Doctor Who gets whipped by Dracula. Deus Ex Machina to defeat the King of the Vampies. How far the Dracula series has fallen. The reconstitution of Dracula is a highlight as well as some references to Stoker's original novel. Like the GC stated, those damn bats just don't cut it. They never have, they never did. The main one is too cute to be menacing. The close-ups of its bloody maw don't diminish it for me. Patrick Troughton is delightful as the familiar of Dracula. I always wondered if his name Clove, also used for a similar character in Dracula, Prince of Darkness, was a pun alluded to a clove of garlic. Maybe that's why Dracula mistreats him so.
Or maybe clove chewing gum.
Maybe.
Okay.
That's an old reference, Jeff. I don't know if many
Yeah, I
people
don't
will
know.
get it.
Well, you could buy that on the shelf with blackjack chewing gum. And,
wow.
what was the
Yes,
other
if
one? I
you're in
think
a
that was-
time machine and you wake up in the 1920s,
Her sap hammer breath mints. Not my favorite of the Hammer Dracula films, but not the worst for the lead.
we would just find a wounded pine tree and eat the sap that was dripping out. We
Right.
liked it that way.
Yule Gibbons was my grandpa.
Tasted of turpentine and poverty.
Did you know some tree bark is edible?
Yeah.
It does
Try
have
this.
Michael Ripper. Go
Try
ahead.
this hemlock.
Death, the gum.
How
If
many
Michael
trees,
Golf. Go ahead, Jeff.
Keep
how
going.
many trees did he lick before he found cinnamon?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You guys. Don't
Wow.
give me a break. Why can't I find this?
And I
Just
just
going to
looked up,
start talking about the Doublemint twins in a minute.
I just looked up a message a few years ago where I sent that to somebody, and the good copy of that TV movie that I had found goes to a dead link now.
Poop.
I'm trying to see who made it. Okay, here we go. The company made tea berry flavored gum. Beeman's chewing gum was the company. Clove chewing gum. Blackjack.
Oh, clove chewing gum.
And I believe there was cinnamon as well, but maybe that's...
I'm amazed this isn't by Necco, because almost every bad candy that ever existed came from our friends at Necco.
Oh, those wafers. Oh, my
Those
God.
horrifying wafers.
Let me finish reading Mike.
Yeah.
If Michael Gough was near the studios, I'm sure Hammer would have grabbed him too. Great podcast, guys. Keep rocking the 70s.
Thank you, Mikey Z.
Appreciate it. And last but not least, Joel Bartolomeo says, I'd love to hear a top 10 or even 5 favorite actors who played Dracula list sometime.
Okay, Xander Vorkov, obviously. Jamie Gillis.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Jamie Gillis.
He did it twice.
David Niven.
Yeah. Oh God, old Dracula. Oh man. Yeah. Boy, that's aged well. Talk about bad endings.
Frank Langella.
Yeah.
Hey, don't knock Frank.
I'm not. I love that movie.
I'll knock him. But I mean, my favorite will always be
Dick Shawn.
Christopher Lee. Yeah. Christopher Lee is probably my favorite. Bela Lugosi's great. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, I do too. And you probably got to.
And I will
include Nosferatu. His name slips my brain right now.
Shrek, Max Shrek.
Shrek.
I will actually defend.
What
was his name? Gerald Butler.
Gerard Butler.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah. He
Dracula 2000.
Okay.
Wes Craven presents. Yeah.
I like the guy who played Dracula in the Monster Squad at the convention I was at. People were trashing it because he called that nice little girl a bitch. And I'm like, he's Dracula. He's a rude guy. That's exactly who would do that. What do you expect? He was a good
Duncan.
guy.
Something is his name. Duncan.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all. Thanks to Mikey Z, Joel Bart, Ralph Miller, Andy L., Bruce Waller, and Charles Bronson. I think we've heard from Charles Bronson before. Bruce Waller, I don't recall hearing from them before, but I really appreciate the comment about John D. Hancock and Let's Scare Jessica to Death, one of my favorites. Y'all can send feedback to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com, or better yet, just leave a comment on the Gruesome Magazine YouTube page. You can find us on, I think, all podcast apps to hear the audio version, but we do supply a bunch of pictures of posters and actors and scenes from the movies for people that check us out on YouTube. So yeah, we love hearing comments. Please send those in.
Yeah.
Well, we also, every 2 weeks, we do a new movie from 1970 through 1979, and this one is Bill's pick. What are we doing, Bill?
Well, because we just did the Lorelai's Grasp, and it was on my mind. It's one I've kind of wanted to do for a while. Night of the Sorcerers, from our friend Armando de Osorio, Mr. Blind Dead himself. And while we still haven't finished the whole Blind Dead thing,
Well, so this will
save
be
that for another time. We have Jerry on.
the third foreign film in a row.
Am I going to have to read this one too?
Well,
No.
we'll find out. Is it dubbed or is it subtitled?
Oh, it's
dubbed.
Probably dubbed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on Tubi. It's the only place I can see it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dirty truth is Bill picked it because it's a double feature with the Lorelai's Grasp, and he hasn't bothered putting away the damn disc since the last one.
So yes,
It's just still sitting there on the
Well,
table.
I know why you picked it, because we talked about how everybody was wearing all the women
Bikinis.
in the Lorelai's Grasp were wearing somewhat modest bikinis, and then he started talking about all the nudity in the Night of the Sorcerers.
right. Just so.
Which then I immediately went and watched it and said,
And you
"Holy
saw what I
cow!
was
Why are
talking
there
about.
any clothes?"
Yeah.
So, all right. I think that's it. Everybody, thanks for
Jerry.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jerry.
Jerry.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Jerry Mulligan.
Thanks,
Jerry Mulligan.
Chad, for reminding
Thank
me what
you for
the
thinking
hell I
of
was
me.
going to say.
That's my job.
All righty. And thanks to the Grue believers out there that check us out. And we're closing out shorter than the movie this time. Say good night, everybody.
Wow.
Good night, everybody.